Gail Spates. I've been a member of The Rock for 20 plus years. I am currently over the children and youth ministry. I also work on the admin team, and I also work in the finance department.
I'm Deaconess Belinda Clark. I've been at The Rock Austin for 19 years. I was diagnosed with uterine cancer in November of 2020, right after Thanksgiving. And then I had surgery the week before Christmas, and we found out it wasn't just uterine, that it spread to my ovaries as well. I
was diagnosed with ovarian cancer in 2016. The unique thing about my form of cancer was that in order to detect and make sure that it is actually ovarian cancer, the only thing you can do is really remove the ovary and then biopsy it and then go from there. So I was diagnosed after my surgery occurred. The doctor told me when I woke up from my surgery that it was cancer.
So when I went to see the oncologist, he was probably gave me the most peace of mind, because he was like, I really don't think you have cancer. I really think it's just fibroids. But the day that we went in for that surgery, he was like, if it is cancer, I'm just gonna take everything, you know? And so when I woke up from the surgery, the nurse came in and she was like, hey, how are you feeling, Mrs. Clark? I was like, I'm okay. And I go, so which surgery did they do? And she's like, oh, you haven't talked to the doctor? I was like, no. She goes, oh, we did a complete hysterectomy. So at that point, that's how I found out I had cancer. So that was a little shocking. Yeah.
I remember I went in and I told Dr. Moody I'm going to have surgery, and he prayed for me personally, and I told people not to worry about me. I'm going to be okay. I moved in with two of my sisters, one of who's a member here, Nicole. So I was close to them. We had small groups at the time. I got a basket of goodies from them. Elder Rutley came up the day of my surgery. She talked to me and she prayed with me. So I felt connected to The Rock. We were actually going to do some fellowshipping at my sister's house. I stayed as connected as possible, and actually, to be quite honest, after about 6 weeks of being out, Elder Scruggs told me that he thought I should come back to the church and participate in ministry.
Well, it was in the midst of COVID, so that was just like a whole nother level. So all my doctor's appointments were by myself. No one could go with me at that point. So it was really isolating. So it was lonely and really kind of frustrating. My gynecologist said that he was referring me to the gynecological oncologist. I called Mia, Elder Greer, and I told her, she's like, have you told Dr. Moody? I was like, no. She's like, call him right now. I was like, I don't want to. And she's like, then go up to the church and tell him. So I came up here and I told him, and so he immediately prayed for me. And he's like, you shall live and not die, Deaconess Clark. He was adamant. And I was like, yes, sir, yes, sir. And the day of my surgery, he called and he prayed with me before the surgery. I had my best friend call him and tell him when we found out that I had cancer. She called him and told him, and he said, put her on the phone. And he's like, what was our prayer? And I was like, I shall live and not die. You know? So, you know, he prayed again for me, and prayer was one of the things that The Rock did for me.
To tell you the truth, it's just brought me closer to a relationship with God. Now I know that God is a healer. So I've experienced him as a healer and as a healer of my cancer. So it strengthened my relationship with God. It strengthened my relationship with The Rock. It strengthened my relationship with other people. And it's a testimony that I can share with other people. I remember having a conversation with another female that has cancer now. And I told her, we're survivors. That cancer has not taken any of us out. We have all gotten past our cancer. So I was able to minister to her and remind her, hey, you're not the only one who's gone through it. We're a group of survivors. We're a group of fighters. We defeat cancer.
No one can't tell me there's not a God, you know, because I would not have gotten through this diagnosis without him. In the midst of COVID, by myself, a whole bunch of other personal things in my life going on. If not for God, I would have lost my mind, literally. Like when we went through the chemo teach, they tell you all the horrible things that are they don't sugarcoat it. They're like, you're gonna lose your hair after the first week. You're gonna lose all kind of weight. They tell you all the negatives. When I started chemo, I didn't lose my hair for almost 2 months, and I didn't lose no weight, which I wish I would, but that was good, because the doctor's like, don't lose weight because that makes your treatment worse. You got to keep the weight on. And for me, that was God showing me grace and mercy.
It is paramount that you have a relationship with God. Regardless of what your situation is, it doesn't matter whether you have cancer or you don't have cancer. The most important thing is that you are a child that God created you, and He created you so that you could have a relationship with Him. So regardless of whether you have cancer, you don't have cancer, you need to have a relationship with God. And once you have a relationship with God, He will do all things to bring you through.
Believers, pull on Him, lean in. Full lean in on God. Pray, talk to Him. He is your daddy. He's your strength. He's your Jehovah Rapha. He's your healer. He's your provider. When you think you're by yourself, you never are. He is right there with you. If you're a non-believer, come talk to me. Let me tell you about my God, because there's no one greater. There's no greater love than Him.
I would just like to encourage people that are going through to realize that it's not, I know that a lot of people, and I face this too, everyone says, why did this happen to me? And you have to realize, especially as a kingdom citizen, especially as a Christian, that God is not doing things to you. God is doing things through you. So He takes you through these different experiences in life, whether it's divorce, whether it's the loss of a loved one, whether it's cancer, so that you can be a testimony to others. So always remember, God's trying to do things through you, not to you. He's not punishing you. He's not being mean to you. He wants to do great things through you. That's all I would say.